not gonna lie, I almost forgot. But I'm here. I'm live to go over some stuff. I'm pretty sure in every single class we went over pretty much the whole review sheet anyway. But, hey, just in case, maybe people have some additional stuff. Now I'm here to go over it. So let's just dive right in, man. This is for the honors class right here. Periods 3 and 4. I'm pretty sure that period 3 takes the test tomorrow. And I think period 4 has Jeopardy tomorrow. I could be wrong. Maybe both of you are taking the test. But whatever. So, I guess we'll start with this. We'll go over a couple of these, not all of these. Steps of replication and transcription, right? So, they both start with helicase, unzipping DNA, because you're using DNA in both. That's a similarity. DNA polymerase is going to read and match bases A, T, C, G. And over here, RNA polymerase is going to match A, U, C, G. Over here, you're going to make 2 strands of DNA, 1 molecule of DNA. So you'll end up in total with 4 strands of DNA and 2 molecules of DNA. Over here, you're just going to make 1 strand of RNA. That's it. Okay. Also, when you're putting the bases together, and I think I showed this in the previous review video that I did, a little video clip of how the bases are put together in order on the leading strand and out of order, which leads to Okazaki fragments, and ligase has to help put those back together. So that's pretty much everything there. This is all about the enzymes, right? You want to manipulate the speed, there's enzymes. Enzymes respond to temperature, so you would do that. You would use temperature. How's this showing on the live stream thing? Okay, good. It's showing well. Awesome. I'm covering the chat box, though. I don't want to do that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I can see the chat box. Phosphate sugar base. Draw each part. One's a circle, phosphate. One's a 5-carbon sugar, a pentagon. And then the base, it's kind of, there's 4 bases, so it depends on it. I can't draw, obviously, like this. Deoxyribonucleic acid, ribonucleic acid. DNA provides the initial sequence of bases that's used to create mRNA. That mRNA messenger, depending on the sequence that was put together because of DNA, that sequence from DNA is going to be used to match up with specific tRNAs that have specific amino acids. So that determines, for translation, the specific amino acid order that is all going to be put together in order to make a protein. And it all starts with DNA. DNA, RNA, protein, those are the products right here. We talked about this before. Double helix, deoxyribose sugar, ATCG. 1 strand, not a double helix, it's 1 strand. AUCG, it has a ribose sugar. Those are differences between them. What's similar? They both have A, C, and G, for example. They both use the bases. They're both made of phosphate. They're both made of a sugar. It's different sugar, but they're made of a sugar. That's a similarity. This everybody pretty much seemed to be okay with, right? Triple C. mRNA. So triple C, you look up here, it's mRNA. This is all mRNA up here, so pro, right? What was the DNA? GGG. If DNA is AGA, you got to turn that into mRNA. UCU. Amino acid, sir. It's mutated. So now it's going to be UCA. And what's the amino acid? It's still sir. Will the protein change? No. Also, you don't know, like when you read that, Is it DNA? Is it RNA? We don't know. But when you read CCU, that tells you, oh, okay, so this is RNA. The DNA must have been GGG, mutated to GGA, which means that the CCC was turned to CCU. I shouldn't have said mutates to. I was trying to be a little tricky with the wording, but it doesn't really work for mRNA. But you do have to figure out that this is mRNA based on this fact. Will the protein change? You'll get CCU, pro. No, it didn't change. It's the same exact thing, whether it's CCC or CCU, which you can see right there. Sometimes amino acids work for similar, even if it's not the same base sequence. MET, it's the start codon. You don't start translation until you hit the start codon. There was a good Jeopardy question about that in my one class. How many possible codons? 4, I think. I didn't look. I didn't even bother looking. Yeah, 4. Okay. I think everybody was pretty good with this stuff. So I'm going to hold off until I go to the next thing because it's pretty basic stuff. Luck. 50-50 chance the kids could end up with a dominant or recessive trait. They could end up with 2 dominant traits, whereas the parents always were heterozygous. So you're going to look different because certain traits show incomplete dominance, for example, or codominance. And then also the kids could inherit the recessive alleles, both of those because of luck. So there's a lot of reasons. I don't know if that's a lot. That's arbitrary. What qualifies as a lot? So, but there's a couple of reasons. Okay. Why do we flip a coin? Because dominant and recessive, it's always a 50-50 chance in life. Coins with their 2 sides, that is used to model a 50-50 shot of something happening. Now you can game the system a little bit with coins. If you know how to flip a coin just right, then you could get it to land on the same thing every single time. But we're going to assume that you're not purposely going out of your way to do that. So for the most part, it represents 50-50. I'm overthinking it right now. All represented in the Snork lab. We had a sequence of mRNA which had to have been garnered from DNA that had been replicated. So DNA was replicated, which provided the original template so we could make an RNA sequence. That RNA sequence was then used to come up with the amino acids, the specific amino acids. And that's translation, to put that all together to make protein. So that's how they were all represented. Provided a template for an mRNA sequence, goes and meets with tRNA, and depending on the sequence of the mRNA that was created, then you go and you match up tRNA and get amino acid sequence and all that stuff. So all that was represented in the Snork lab. They all played a role. Some indirect, and some more direct. Red, white. Incomplete dominance means neither is going to show up when it's heterozygous. So it's still red here, still red, still white, but over here neither shows up, neither red nor white. So you get like pink, for example. Codominance, that means they both show up, they cooperate, they cohabitate, they both show up. This is still red, this is still white, but here they both show up, red and white. Carrier of hemophilia, heterozygous. These are carriers. She's a female, so XX. What kind of H's? Heterozygous, big H, little h. Right? Male, who does not have hemophilia. Hemophilia is recessive. If he does not have it, that means he's got dominant letters, so X, capital H, and a Y. Normal man, X, capital H, Y. Hemophiliac brother, we don't need to know that. Marries a homozygous normal woman, so that's XX. Capital H, capital H. Probability of hemophiliacs? 0. They're going to get a capital letter no matter what from everybody. So no chance of being a hemophiliac. B blood type child with an AB blood type child. It's heterozygous. So that's IBI mixed with IA, IB. So you end up with what do we have to do? Oh, just cross it. Yeah, so you would do a cross of that. Set up IBI with IA, IB, and you would just do a cross with those two. Alright, we skip those. That's pretty simple stuff. Tall's dominant short, white's dominant purple. What if phenotype ratio? Okay, how does that? Okay, so you'd have to do 16 square Punnett square on this, and you could come up with your own genotype letters. The R equals round, R equals wrinkled. That goes with this up here. So for this, you could do, T's and I don't know. I don't know if you want to do W. W kind of stinks. Capital W looks the same as lowercase w, so it's up to you what you use. Let's go with T's and B's because that looks, that looks pretty good. T's and B's. Where's my Microsoft Word? I'm gonna just try to do a rudimentary type job here. What does it say? Heterozygous. Heterozygous parent. Okay, so the first parent is heterozygous all the way. White is dominant, pure, tall. I think it's supposed to be just pure all around. I messed up the order there. I'll make sure that's fixed for the test. Then if you ask, I would say like, oh yeah, that's it. But I don't think I copied that same question into the test anyway. Something similar, but not the same exact. So white, pure, tall. So what we use, B's and T's. So there you go, pure all the way. And you would set up a 16 square Punnett square. What you have to do, we're going to focus on this one first. Okay. You're going to write out every possible combination of T with B. For example, you could do big T with big T with little b. Or you do little t. And there you go. It's every possible combination accounted for. And then over here, every single one of these is going to be the same exact thing because the parent's homozygous dominant. That's all you can do. 4 different ways of getting big T with big B. Okay, and then you just fill in from there. So B in that square, for example. Let's move these over a little bit. Doing 16 square Punnett square. B, right? Oh, okay. No. Cool. There we go. So yeah, so you would just continue to fill out from there, This one would be a heterozygous kid. And that's it. Alright, so that's that review sheet. I mean, they're similar. There's like stuff that's been like taken down, down a notch, Why am I saying like 5 times? What the heck is that about? So, DNA is one molecule made of 2 strands. Helicase, unzip. What are these each going to do? So you could tell, obviously, different questions, a little bit lighter on the memory workload there. We talked about this on the other one. That was from the previous assignment too. A little extra hint right there. A with T, C with G. I went over that with the last sheet. I went over this with the last sheet. Went over that with the last sheet. mRNA, tRNA. Went over that with the last one. Went over that. Alright, went over that. And then this stuff right here. And then all this stuff. So a lot of a bit lighter on the open-ended critical thinking type stuff, but the content's all very similar. So as long as you mastered the basic content, you should be pretty good. Same thing with the last one. I actually used the same review sheet for both classes there. So that's it. I don't see anybody in the chat. If you have a question, throw one on there. And messages per minute. I don't see any messages. Oh, no, watching. Okay, that's just for watching. Alright. I'll leave this up for, another 10 minutes. Give people a chance to pop in. See if anybody's got some quiz review questions that they'd like to ask. Alright, take a look at my phone. Actually, I'm going to start up my PlayStation. me pull up the live stream on my phone. That way, if someone stops in, I could help them out and go over a couple things. Be warned, gamers, why should you be careful about Anthem reviews? Well, it's EA. They punish reviewers who are too harsh. So, I mean, it's not hard to put together that a lot of these reviews may be a little tinged with fear-based bias. That they're going to give it a little bit of a pass, maybe, on certain problems that the game might have. Because, hey, they don't want to be punished by EA and have their review copies rescinded, which is a very common practice. You want to get those review copies early if you're that, if you're in that sphere. And so if EA opts to not send you those early review copies, then guess what? You get beat to the punch by every other reviewer out there. Although honestly, I mean, I see a lot of reviewers that they'll take a good deal of time longer to get a full review out there, and they have their fan base set in stone, and because their personalities and their delivery style and their commentary is insightful and valuable enough, they're still able to keep their views right where it normally is, regardless of when they get their copies. So I don't know. I think a lot of YouTubers maybe stress about that a lot more than they should. Then again, maybe it's like I'm sure there's a lot of YouTubers that like really their whole channel hinges on the early reviews. So I don't know. I would have to hear from a YouTuber who's in that position, and I don't see myself having a one-on-one with a YouTuber in that position anytime soon. Gaming is a very interesting beast. The business, the live streaming, the YouTubing, all of it. It's very weird. Alright, I don't see anybody in the comment section. Let's just give a listen. Let's just give a listen. Okay, cool. It's still working. Oh no! Now that I did that, is there going to be like a feedback loop? I don't know. Whatever. There's a feedback loop. Someone can yell at me in the comments below. Alright, so I'll keep this up for another 5 minutes or so. See if anybody pops in. While we're waiting, I watched a very interesting video. I had never heard of this. It was called The Bully Hunters. They hunt bullies in online gaming. So that gaming could be a free space that shows respect to all people. Sounds great. Sign me up. And what they did was, okay, let's say somebody starts verbally harassing you in game. You would go on the Bully Hunter app, and you would get in contact with an elite pro gamer who was just sitting around waiting for your call specifically. It's awesome. They're on call for you. And you would give them your Steam ID, they would friend you, and they would hop into your game, and they would hunt down the player that verbally taunted you. And so I would teach them, like, hey, show respect to people, or else you're going to die in this game. But like, what if you lied and said that somebody verbally attacked you, but they actually didn't? The bully's not there. They don't ask for like recorded proof. So you could just use use this as a tool to harass and bully people. This is a bad idea in concept and horrific idea in execution. Turned out that the statistics used were all made up, and the supposed live stream that they were doing for the first ever Bully Hunters thing, well, it wasn't live at all. And after the fact, someone held up a contract that was like, look, in the first line of this contract, it clearly indicates that this wasn't going to be live. But when you look at all the advertisements and everything, it was always like, join us live for our first ever tryout. And like the actual live stream, they're like, oh, we hope we find somebody. We hope there's a bully. I was like, wait, you hope there's a bully? That's kind of weird. I would hope that nobody bullies anybody. So it was very hilarious. I see a couple people jumped in. I'm sure you're not here for me shooting my gums off about the Bully Hunters disaster that I found out about the other day. So if you got a review question, throw one in that chat box. Otherwise, I'm going to keep rambling about this hilarious thing I saw the other day. Well, one of you just dropped out. Either that or I'll go play some hockey, and I'll live stream me playing hockey. I don't know. I don't know what people want. I was live streaming Resident Evil 2, and within like 5 minutes, Claire Redfield was cursing like a sailor, and I realized, oh, okay, I was already questioning the content appropriateness of it. And so yeah, I got rid of that video. I will not be live streaming Resident Evil 2 anytime soon. Well, it's definitely not on the list of games that are on the OK list. But alright, I'll keep rambling about Bully Hunters for another 2 minutes because I think it was a funny story. They're playing a game called Counter-Strike CSGO, very popular game. I'm sure anybody who knows anything about gaming heard that. It's like, oh yeah, of course. But the problem is, people can only talk to you if they're on your team. So the person who was attacking this player on the Bully Hunters live stream was the player's own teammate, and they were attacking them for like getting a double kill, which means you killed 2 people at once. And it's like, why would your own teammate get mad at you for having a double kill? It doesn't make sense. Alright, well, some people are just that, like, they're just major jerks. Some people will go that far, whatever. People pointed out, wait a minute, if you call in the Bully Hunter, you gotta call in the Bully Hunter to target your own teammate. Because you can only hear your own team, so the person who attacked you is your own teammate. That means that you are now against the Bully Hunter in the match when the Bully Hunter joins. So what's to stop the Bully Hunter from accidentally killing the person that called them in? I mean, when you're playing a game like that, it's not like you know exactly where the specific bully was. And you don't have time to process. Like, oh, who am I looking at right now? Is that gamer user Rose87 the person that called me in here? No, you have no time. It's read and react. The second someone pops on your screen, if you don't start firing, you're dead. So you're going to end up killing the person that called in the Bully Hunter. It's just like really stupid. It turned out at the end, they were like, yo, buy our headsets. We got brand new headsets. We're sponsored by this headset company. And it was all pretty much just, it seemed like it was all a setup to get people to buy headsets. And it was really bad. The spokesperson they chose to represent Bully Hunters, like, oh yeah, don't bully people and like be kind to people, has like a Twitter history full of attacking people with hate speech and whatnot. So it's like they didn't even vet the spokesperson that they used. It was just like what a disaster. There's a lot of that. A lot of people that use good causes as a shield to get away with really nasty behavior in the gaming world, especially, but in politics and a lot of avenues in life. that seems to be happening more and more and more, especially with internet anonymity. All right, so I don't see anybody here. Ain't nobody asking no review questions. So I'm going to peace out, and that's it. All right. Good luck on your tests, everybody. And if you got a question, leave one in the comments, and I'll try to take a look at my phone a couple times throughout the day, and if I see some comments, I'll respond and hopefully address some questions. I'm sure you guys do great though. You guys are smart. You guys are super smart. Just every single class. Even the classes with kids that I know some of you aren't really doing your work necessarily. You know who you are. But you're all freaking smart. And you know it. Some of you just don't feel like doing the work, but you're not dumb. None of you. So you'll do fine. You'll all kick butt on this test. And if you don't kick butt on this test, so what? We'll go over stuff you missed. And we'll get you on the next thing. And if you didn't study and you don't do well, then it's like, alright, well, you didn't study, so what are you going to do? But if you had studied, you'd do well. I know. I know all of you will do well. I have to go back on my computer. That sounded like a great way to say okay, goodbye, like immediately after that. But, kind of can't say okay, goodbye, and then have like 2 minutes while I switch input back to my computer and then go find the software so I could shut down the live stream. It doesn't work, so this is a much cruddier goodbye than the other one would have been, but, goodbye.